and welcome to Destination Passport. I'm Keith Bird.
I'm Damon Product, and together we are
Bird Product Travel Agency. And we're so excited to once again hook up a client with a great vacation and kind of let you all, the listeners, in on the travel planning process.
Yeah, because I know that's why you keep tuning in, is you just want to see that process. You just want to see what's in it. Because when you go online, right, you don't get to see the process.
No, it's all bits and bytes.
You just assume that some supercomputer says beep, beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, 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 and spits something out.
010101, you're in a Marriott in Asheville, North Carolina. Beep, bop, boop.
That's not what I wanted.
Yeah, well, now you're stuck with it because you trusted a fucking robot.
Exactly.
And not us.
And if you've listened to any of our episodes so far, you know that's not our process. No. Our process goes into the weeds on who our clients are and why they want to get away.
And that's what we found, is that when people want to get away, that's when they need a vacation.
We've just found that out because, I mean, obviously we've talked about this. We've done scientific experiments. But even before that, we just started putting clues together. It seemed like every time somebody came to us for a vacation, they were saying things like, I really want to get away. And we were like, wait a minute.
I don't want to be exactly where I am for a period of time. Yeah.
I'm tired of living my life in my day-to-day in my home right now, and I'd like to do that in another location.
But temporarily,
I'd like to come back.
Yeah.
Because before that, we were like, oh, you want to move. You want to move somewhere.
Yeah.
And they said, no, I want to come back. And we said, whoa. We could book a vacation for you.
Yeah, so we haven't really touched on that. We were a moving company for about 3 weeks. Right at the beginning.
And that is how long it took us, 3 weeks. Yeah, until we had several clients that were, quite frankly, unhappy.
Yeah.
Because they were hoping for a vacation at the beginning, and we had just relocated them.
Yeah, we relocated them, already sold their house.
We made them a profit
on
their home.
Yeah.
We would make good real estate agents, I think, because we made them a profit.
Yeah, that might be our next venture.
It might be maybe a side hustle.
Maybe.
Because this is our main gig, obviously.
This is our main gig,
This is all we do. We work with clients all day. You guys see a little snippet of that, but we work with clients nonstop.
Nonstop, pretty much 24/7.
I was going to say, we barely sleep.
We are a little bit, and we tried out this marketing, and it didn't quite work, but we call ourselves the Freddy Krueger of travel, because we will enter people's dreams to help them set up a vacation if that's what it takes, you know, in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that one was tougher. We had to learn some techniques to go into the subconscious mind of our clients while they're sleeping, but we did go through training for that, and we are certified to be able to book you a trip in your sleep now.
Christopher Nolan trained us in how to do inceptions, and that's because that's the only way you can be a Freddy Krueger in real life. I mean, Freddy Krueger is just, fantasy. But Inception is real technology that we have used to go into people's dreams. Now, we always like to check in with our previous week's client. And, of course, last week it was good old Shingles McGillicuddy, who we thought at first was a 137-year-old woman who lived in a bucket. Turned out to seemingly be a 27-year-old woman who still wanted to die. And same name, Shingles McGillicuddy. And then as we discovered when we went on that trip to Hawaii with Shingles, basically what happened was that she went up in the helicopter that we expected to crash and kill her, and then we would take the money after having just been to the estate law office. And, the helicopter did crash, but Shingles survived. Yeah.
It was unfortunate.
Yeah.
For all of us. Obviously, we wanted to get that. How much money was it again?
$47 million.
$47 million. And Shingles actually wanted to die.
Yeah.
So nobody was happy. But here's the thing. At the end of a trip with us, you always smile.
Yeah.
So even though the helicopter crash didn't kill Shingles, we went out to dinner that night, and she said she had the time of her life.
She had the time of her life at dinner. She tried to choke on her steak. That didn't work either. Turns out that she's neither 137 nor 27, but she's actually 727 years old and may actually, in fact, be immortal.
Yeah, we found that out, which was a big bummer. But yeah, throughout the entire trip, she just kept trying to kill herself. And at a certain point, look, we want that $47 million, but at a certain point, it's a bummer. Yeah. We're just kind of like, can we just kind of finish the vacation here?
That's sort of a vacation tip for all of you out there. If you're going on vacation, especially with some friends or family, if you try to kill yourself even once, that's going to ruin the whole vibe of the vacation.
Yep.
Even one time trying to commit suicide on vacation.
Keith, are you spoiling your tip of the day?
Well, that's just a bonus free tip.
Bonus free tip here.
Bonus free tip. Do not, if you're on a vacation by yourself, maybe you can try.
I was going to say, you weren't necessarily saying don't do it. You're just saying, just be aware that if you're going to, it will bum out the rest of the group.
So you'll need to account for that in some way. Maybe if you're planning on attempting suicide multiple times on your next vacation, bring some like presents or something that you can give the people on your trip if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just sort of a, sorry, I tried to kill myself on our big vacation kind of present.
Like a new laptop.
A new laptop. So if you're going on a trip with like 3 other people and you're planning on killing yourself, at least trying to kill yourself, bring 3 laptops.
Yeah, head to Best Buy first. Get with the Geek Squad. Make sure they filled you in on which would be the best kind of computer. To buy for a mourning loved one, immediately mourning. Morning of mourning.
Yeah, and the Geek Squad, they're very helpful when it comes to just sort of like technology that you can gift people after you've attempted suicide.
Yeah. They have a certain section for that. You know how they have columns with different dots of like, oh, this computer has this size processor. This one of those dots is like whether it's good or not to give after someone's died.
And every Geek Squad has sort of a sub squad that's more of a goth squad. And they're the very like moody, like kind of very death-oriented part of the Geek Squad.
If you haven't seen those commercials, those commercials are fun. The Goth Squad commercials, where you call them and they come to your house and they're just kind of bumming you out, but they're also like telling you like, you know, who's gonna die next in your home. You just wanted your computer repaired.
Or they're like cutting themselves while flawlessly giving advice on which USB cord to buy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the story with Shingles. She's unfortunately for her, but fortunately for the people in her life, which is basically just us and that guy at the park.
The guy at the park. Yep. She is alive.
She's still alive. But hey, let's do just a quick personal check-in. Now, Damon, of course, we've been talking a lot about your recently discovered illegitimate but still legitimately loved son. Little Squirt.
Yeah, he's loved by some, sure.
And you had to use some of your Maury retainer this week, is that right?
I did. I had to go back on to Maury. I hadn't even told you about this yet. You saw the episode.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, and it wasn't even related to the son.
No.
It was
but you had to use that retainer
because
it turned out that they're not going to pay it back. So you're basically locked in.
Not only were they not going to pay it back, there is a deadline. I found out.
Oh wow!
It's just wasted money if I don't go on Maury 3 more times by the end of the year. I found out.
Wow.
So I went ahead and went on for one of them. Absolutely. So I got into a dispute with my neighbor, just so that we could have one of those like really minor civil sort of lawsuits play out, but where we're just kind of like yelling at each other, and then her husband comes out and it's like, this motherfucker tried to my wife, which it did not try to. I did not try to.
No.
I just got accused of it. It's all for the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting that they didn't bleep motherfucker, but they did bleep fuck my wife.
Yeah. It's interesting how they choose that. Well, I mean, I think that's just America, right? It's like the cuss words in and of themselves are good, but if it's related to sex, no.
Yeah, it's just this prudish society we live in that
Absolutely
makes it so that we're not allowed to, for example, try to seduce our ex-wives. You know, so somehow that's like...
Keith, if I may, I don't know that the law telling you to stop chasing your former wife who has a restraining order against you,
who is your sister,
who is my sister, has to do with us being a prudish society.
I don't know, it's just so puritanical, you know? It's like they might as well be wearing those big hats with buckles on them when they're telling me to like...
Yeah, they might as well be doing that. Because
they're like, don't steal a souped-up hot rod and use that to chase your ex-wife's Subaru around town. They don't like that because they're like, oh, we must be ashamed of our body parts.
Exactly.
You know?
It's a body shaming culture that created that type of law that you're not allowed to steal a car, first of all. And then that you're not allowed to chase your wife with it who has a restraining order against you. Thank you.
In a truly sexually free society, you'd be able to steal as many hot rods as you needed to get your ex-wife back. And I truly believe that.
And we're going to fight for that. We're going to fight for that type of country.
Yeah. that's part of our...
We're not announcing a campaign here, but it sounds like it.
That might be one of our next campaigns. Of course, last week we introduced our nonprofit wing, Little Packers.
Little Packers.
Where we give at-risk youth packing lessons.
Very passionate about this. Passionate about them Little Packers. And just to see the look on their face when they have that finished suitcase at the end.
Yeah.
You know, when their suitcase is closed and all their clothes are inside of it.
Yeah.
And they kind of look at you like, okay, what does this do for me? It just brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah, because they don't even know what it's doing for them, and that's just kind of the most tragic part of all. Is that what we're doing is we're preparing you for a day, someday maybe, when you'll be able to go on a vacation when you're no longer at risk.
And we touched on this, but even more importantly, keeps them from packing heat on the street, keeps them from packing bowls of illegal substances.
Keeps them from rooting for the Green Bay Packers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, which is...
a lot of the kids we're working with are
gang-related.
at risk of becoming Packers fans, and that's something we're trying to prevent.
Yeah, we're trying to stop that at all costs.
Yeah.
That was actually the formation of it. That's why we decided to start Little Packers, but then we found these other avenues.
Yeah. We found all these all this kind of basic wordplay that also could...
We just took a whiteboard and we said
Yeah.
Packers, and we just drew a bunch of arrows, and we said,
how many different
"Ooh."
things can this mean? And we
Yeah.
basically came up with all of them.
That was a
and
fun day.
It was a really fun day, and that was kind of the first day on our journey towards helping people.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
And look where we've made it.
Look, we're hosting a podcast.
Now we're hosting a podcast and helping people change their lives through travel.
Mm-hmm. And just the fact that we're the only podcast that is about travel just makes it that much more important, the work that we're doing.
It's that much more important, and I feel fortunate. I think we're lucky. Like, if we had to compete with a bunch of other podcasts that had to do with different facets of travel, it'd be hard to stand out.
That'd be hard to stand out, but we stand out very easily. We're the only podcast. If you go to Apple Podcasts,
Type in travel.
we're the only one that comes up.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that was great checking in with you, Damon.
Great checking in with you, Keith.
I hope Little Squirt's doing well.
Yeah, we didn't touch on it, but Lil Squirt is alive and well.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Your 3-year-old son is not dead. That's
My
good.
3-year-old son is not dead yet.
Not dead yet. Okay, yeah.
You can say that about anyone.
You can say that about anyone.
I wasn't
yeah.
saying I was going to kill him. I'm just saying you could always say yet.
You wouldn't.
I would never.
Yeah. And Halloween's right around the corner.
Ooh, spooky times. And Keith, am I correct in saying it's your favorite holiday?
It's one of my favorites, and by one of I mean the number one favorite.
I love when you do that.
Yeah.
What are you going to go as this year, Keith?
I'm probably gonna go as a suitcase.
You get the suitcase this year.
And you're gonna go as the passport.
Passport.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was gonna say. I get to go as the passport, and we do it so that it's openable. And then we just put a different stamp on each year for the different Halloween parties that we go to.
Yeah, and we force, anytime we know that we're going to go to a Halloween party, we force the person hosting that party to create a large custom stamp.
Well, first of all, the design for it. We say you have to come up with a design for what your party would look like as a stamp, and then come up with a large, oversized stamp for it, and get the ink.
Yeah, and get the huge pad of ink.
We don't do any of that.
We don't do any of that. We outsource that to the people who host the Halloween parties that we're decreasingly invited to.
Well, to be fair, you invited us. So
Yeah. So we have another great client that we want to get to. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more Destination Passport after this.
Hey.
Welcome back to Destination Passport. And we are really quite excited to welcome this week's guest, this week's client, this week's potentially friend.
So excited.
So excited. So let's just get right to it.
Yeah.
His name is Kevin Funt. Everyone, welcome to the podcast, Kevin Funt. Hi, Kevin Funt.
What up? What up, dudes? How's it going?
Going pretty well. I mean, it's going great for us because we're about to set you up with a vacation. That's the thing we love to do most of all.
Yeah, so if I'm planning a vacation, I'm in my happy place, so I'm doing well.
Yeah, this is more of a vacation out of need, not happiness. I just, need to leave town for a little while, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
Interesting, interesting. Leave
Yeah.
town. Now, when you say leave town, you mean get away.
Yeah, I'm looking to, get away.
There it is.
There it is. There it
Okay.
is.
We just wanted to make sure because I think most people want to have a vacation when they want to get away. So you saying something synonymous with that, we just wanted to be clear that you are looking to get away.
A very clean getaway, a very quiet getaway, if you will. Yeah.
Clean and quiet. Yeah. No, we're great at that. We can do clean. We can do messy. We can do, just about anything. As long as it ends up with you in a beautiful place, having a beautiful time.
With a beautiful smile on your beautiful face.
Yeah. In a beautiful place with a beautiful face. Hey.
Hey. Catchphrase?
Catchphrase? Now, Kevin, there are lots of reasons someone might need to leave town, get away, make a clean getaway.
Especially with how you're saying get away.
Yeah. And sometimes it has to do with we've had multiple clients who have sons or stepsons that are plotting to kill them or just like infesting their computer with Simpsons porn viruses. Other people who have wanted to, make a connection with a friend, or in last week, Shingle's case, to have a funeral. Didn't quite happen, but she still had a great time. What's going on with you? Is something with your family? What's your job? Like, what's your job?
Well, it's been a hard quarter for sure. I've recently expanded my business to a new level, which has caused me a great deal of stress.
Oh.
Yeah.
And, some minor instances where I am afraid for my physical wellness, afraid for violence against me. So.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. So you don't just mean like you're under more stress and that's the physical harm that you're worried about?
It's more like I need to get out of this state to avoid being attacked currently. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your company expanding, and we will get to you being attacked in a minute. What is the company? What do you do?
Well, it's how do I put this? We're internet bullies, is what we are. We call it Payback. It's got no vowels. It's just PYBCK.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you do it any other way?
.biz.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
If you're looking. And recently, I've always been in the elementary school realm, but we've recently expanded up to middle school, which, depending on your level of puberty and stuff, that involves some physicality, some real anger that's built, and it's not as simple as it once was, for sure. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is interesting because, again, we don't like to describe our guests unless it's absolutely necessary. But
And we usually say that right before we do. So here we go.
You're very scrawny. Like, it's surprising that you're in the bullying business at all. You look like you could get beat up by just about anyone, no offense.
Well, internet bullying, it's not a matter of might, it's a matter of right. What you can put into a Facebook post or, how you can just flame someone. It's all about what you put into the internet. Not
more of a mental game than
mental
a physical
game. Mental game.
Do you mind me asking a question? Because I heard a term I'm not familiar with.
Sure.
You said flame someone?
Flame, yeah, it's the term that we're trying to start. It's gaslighting is being used so much right now.
It's very hot.
You're trying to bring back flame from circa 2005 internet.
Yeah, it's actually it's an old term, but we're updating it to where you incorporate actually gaslighting someone, and then you're also swatting them at the same time. So it's a mixture of both of those, which is just like a flame. It's a flame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. So it sounds like let me know if I'm misinterpreting anything, but it sounds like you need to get away because you're worried that the 13-year-olds you're being paid to bully will find you and beat you up.
Yeah, it's actually happened that we got big enough that we came across some 13-year-olds that actually knew how to find me. So they have located my studio apartment, and they have made some very real threats that I am not too happy about currently.
Okay, so they located your apartment. Did they make these threats in person? Is this mail they're sending you? Are they vandalizing your home?
I have we have a community pool at my apartment complex.
Yeah.
Sick.
And I like to exercise every morning there, doing a few laps.
Doesn't seem to be taking, but
it's hard to get the exercise I need to build any muscle because it's only like 3 by 3 foot. So it's
Is it a hot tub?
you know what?
sounds like it might be a small hot tub.
There are these knobs on the wall right next to the pool, but I never, I guess, assumed it was a hot
Even
tub.
then, it would be a small one.
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be pretty small.
3 by
hot tub,
3.
I think.
And again, if it's round, you only need to say one of them. The diameter's 3.
Yeah.
I guess it is. Anyway, well, I've been exercising in that, which is not a great length to build any muscle. It's a lot of just turning.
Yeah. You might be better at you've built up some resistance to getting dizzy, maybe.
Yeah, I've built up quite the case of vertigo by working out in this hot tub, I guess, if we want to use the right terminology.
But so somebody interrupted your workout?
Yeah, I was held under by three 7th graders. Yeah.
It seems like the maybe only needed one, just based on, again, your physique.
And
It
the size of the
it was
hot dog.
overkill, you know. There's the guy that's like the capo. He's in charge, and he just sits there and watches.
7th grade capo.
Yeah, and then there's the two heavies that just
Did they use these terms, or these are terms you're putting on them?
they use those terms. I said, "Who are you guys?" And out came the titles.
Oh, wow. Wow. And, you know,
Sorry to hear that.
we can cut this, but this is this is why I think that we need to separate Italian kids from the rest of the class.
You know, it turns out they were not Italian at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was.
They
You know,
just learned their history.
it's Loveland, Colorado, so
okay.
there's not a lot of diversity. It's mainly German and English. So
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you survived that. Wow. Sorry to hear about such a traumatic event.
I mean, you know, you think organized crime isn't going to happen to you when you're a internet bully, but
And this is organized in the sense
Yeah.
that they planned this and went through with it.
That there was more than one person who talked about doing something and they organized doing it.
Is this a syndicate that you're aware of?
I don't want to dig too deeply. I know there have been some families in the middle schools. There were 3 families at one point, but those were largely disseminated by the FBI in the early 90s with the wiretapping and such. But so I'm not sure if this is a revival of these families or a new family or what's going on, but I'm in some danger.
Yeah, you know, I do remember hearing a little bit about the Steinmetz family up in Loveland.
That was a deal, yeah. They had a lot of German bakeries that you know we all liked to use, but also had a lot of 8th grade gangs.
Yeah, it sounds like that bakery might be a front for middle school violence.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
They just train 8th graders in the back of that where they would be baking bread. Just like a fight club back there.
It's weird, yeah. It's weird because you could get like a muffin for just like a pencil. If you had just like an unused pencil, you could get like an entire breakfast if you wanted it. I was like, how do these guys? What kind of business model is this? And then you know your car gets stolen. You're like, oh, that's the model. That's where the money's coming from.
Did they use the pencil to somehow hotwire the car?
I think you know it was just like you would like see the pencil inside the car when you're driving it and be like, oh, this is one of those cars. And you kind of like, you know, if you had like a girlfriend or something, you could show that off and be like, you know, this car, I got this hot. So.
Yeah, so we know that you have this kind of precarious situation where you might be sort of a wanted man by the aggressive middle schoolers of Loveland. But what's your typical workday look like?
Yeah.
Well, I have a reoccurring client list of, I guess they're just jerks, I would call them. I don't know, but they're my clients, so I can't. I wouldn't say that to their faces, obviously. But
Yeah.
that's what they are. Usually they could be, a lot of mine are people that did not make a cheerleading team or a football team, or maybe they just don't like a person because he is, a little soft like me maybe, or, there's just many things. So I take the person's name and info and gather all their social networks. I gather their likes and their dislikes, and
Not just social media likes and dislikes.
I mean,
just
that's where I get
general.
most of it from, but
Yeah.
I have followed them around for a week or so.
Probably keeping your distance because you're scared of them.
Keeping my distance, yeah, I'm not much of a person to leave my house, so when I do follow these people, it's, I'm usually in some sort of like a box so I can hide.
And you're not talking about your car, like a box inside of your car.
It looks like a large Amazon box, but it's quite bigger than what you would probably order,
And so these kids start to think that maybe an Amazon package is following them around.
Yeah, a lot of them have been suspicious when it's like sliding down the sidewalk behind them, but it's the only costume I have, so it's
Okay. Yeah.
Halloween's coming up. You thinking about wearing that for?
You
Speaking of
know,
costumes.
I'm starting to get known a little bit around Loveland, so I don't know if that would be a great costume to take to a party because it might, it's like Bruce Wayne would dress up as Batman when he goes to a party. So
Yeah.
it just like
Yeah,
Although that might be the best costume for him to wear to really throw off suspicion.
that's
you know?
true.
that's true. If he
You're
was
like, I'm not the box man that slides up and down your sidewalk. Why would I dress up as him for Halloween?
I know there's been rumors about me being who, so I thought I would play into it.
Yeah. Now, I'm looking at your website, pybck.biz. And you've posted some examples of your work and some of them are pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah. The reason I got into this business is to see children break down, see them cry, see them drop out of school, and see them into the workforce. Because as we know, we have a worker shortage right now. So getting these 13 and 14-year-olds out into the workplace is a little thing I like to do to help out USA.
You're playing your part.
Yeah. So are you getting any kind of outside funding from the government or a chamber of commerce to kind of help facilitate this?
I don't want to get political on this, but in the last administration, I got a lot of funding. And since the election / takeover / lie, I have had some of that cut. So it's been a rough time, but we are still out looking for some new resources for that, for sure.
Okay.
Cool. So I'm looking at one of these posts that's on your website, just as an example of kind of the things that you do. And it looks like you posted on a kid named Chad's Facebook wall.
Yeah, Chud. Yep. Yeah.
And it looks like you wrote, and this is just undisguised. This says from Kevin Funt.
Yeah, that was a mistake. In retrospect, put my full name.
But it says, "Hey Chud, just wanted everyone to know that this is a pair of your underwear," and then it's a pair of underwear with a huge skid mark on it. And then you tagged what looks like a bunch of cheerleaders in the post, and they are all commenting under the post saying, "Ew, yuck, does he ever wipe?" et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, Chad made the mistake of being good at speech, and he was chosen to be the lead at a speech competition. So his parents hired me, or not his parents, but a competitor's parents. I think his name was Nick. What was his last name? Randolph. Nick Randolph hired me to. I probably shouldn't have said that in the podcast. Oh well, sorry.
That's fine. We can
Anyway.
We can cut that.
we can bleep it.
Yeah, he they wanted Nick to be the lead in that speech competition, so I took him down with some skid
lead.
marks. Yeah.
They do have different roles.
Yeah,
right?
how does the speech competition work?
To where there's a lead, but then there's
Supporting parts.
supporting cast.
I assume it's like your typical band where you have like a first chair speech, second chair speech.
So I'm imagining like an orchestra sort of, and there's a conductor at the front, and maybe they're like reciting like, "I have a dream," or "Ask not what your country can do for you," something like that, but with different parts.
Yeah, I think they do different parts, and then they get to a point where they do kind of one word at a time later.
Yeah,
later
from
in
the
different
from the practices I observed from my box, there was a guy leading it. He was in a tight black T-shirt, and if your argument was not to his, he'd go, "Not my argument, not my argument," and point at you, and then he would like pull the second lead up, and that would be his time to go.
Wow.
A lot like Whiplash.
I don't know, whatever that is.
Yeah, I heard about there was a kid that up in Loveland who got into a car crash the day of a big speech competition.
Yeah, that's really one of my proudest pieces.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
You caused
Proudest piece.
you caused a car accident.
Yeah, do you mind telling us what led to that? What your role was in that?
Well, Loveland is somewhat of a green community, so there's a lot of carpooling and ride sharing going on.
Mm-hmm,
So most of the entire speech team was in the same car. So
And when you say car, do you mean bus?
it was, it's like one of those Mercedes-Benz, like square buses that you can convert. So
Okay, cool.
they were packed in there pretty tight. So I saw them driving around, used my little thinker, and said, if that thing got into an accident, there would be lots and lots of injuries. And the old first chair speech would be wide open. Open.
Now, you mind me asking, do you have any interest in speech? In making the speech team?
I try to make every day a day where I speak. So
That's a good goal.
I wake up and I go, what am I going to say in this moment as I wake up, and give myself 10 minutes just to talk, I sit there and I talk and I say, am I hungry? Yes. Did I sleep? Yes, I did. Is today the day I think it is? Let me check. Yes. Tuesday. Check. Yes.
Cool.
So you kind of verbalize your thoughts. So you do have a potential interest in being on the speech team and being the lead chair potentially.
I always say speech is the way to communication. And I think
Wow.
that way,
Wow.
so speech is important to me.
Have you ever given like a TEDx talk, just kind of talking about? It seems like you have a lot of insight from a small business owner's perspective.
TEDx, as I call it, TED XXX, because it's dead. Because it's like poison. Because
Okay.
I've
Not the porn kind of.
Yeah,
meaning.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's it's NC-17 now. If you haven't checked your ratings, they've updated those.
Okay, good.
I've applied for TED and TEDx for the last 15 years, and I have not been accepted.
Oh.
I don't know what the exact issue is. I know that the way I'm running my business is a little bit controversial, but I get results, and if people want results, they're going to listen to my TED. But
yeah. Well, let's try to get to the bottom of this. What's the name of the presentation that you've pitched to them?
Yeah, that might have been part of the issue. It was how to hurt children. So,
Yeah, that might be the first misstep.
Okay.
Then it was semicolon and build business. But that first part of it is
Might have
just
turned them off enough to not care about the business part. Yeah.
I don't.
They also might not have loved that use of a semicolon too.
Yeah.
Is that incorrect grammar?
I just think I would have just omitted the semicolon altogether and just said how to hurt kids and build a business.
Right now I feel like Michael Jordan on my JV tryout, and they're just like, you know what? Maybe try baseball. I'm not feeling it. And he's like, someday I'm going to dunk on all you fools. Someday I'm going to be, in the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to call you all out in my Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah.
And of speaking.
Speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hall of Fame.
What's the Hall of Fame of
speech.
speaking?
You're hoping
Like a presidential speech? Is that like the biggest speech that you could get?
That's one of the biggest, but there's a speech Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah. I think the biggest speech of all time is Independence Day, at the end when it's everyone's Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not an American holiday anymore. It's the world's holiday.
Wow.
That's
That's
a good
number
lesson.
one. Yeah.
Good lesson, good speech.
Yeah.
Now, I'm looking at another one of these examples of work on your website.
That portfolio has a lot of stuff that's not so current. 'Cause, when I first started out, I didn't exactly know what I was doing.
Yeah.
You don't need to preface it. I'm sure it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this looks like a screenshot of a Snapchat.
No, you go through all different media platforms.
Snapchat was hot for a while. It really was. Yeah.
And it looks like a picture that you've taken through what looks like a hole in a cardboard box. And it appears to be just a very graphic, sort of a middle-aged man having graphic sex with what appears to be a Hooters waitress, just kind of based on
The fact that she's wearing a Hooters
the
shirt.
fact that she's wearing a Hooters shirt and her short orange Hooters shorts are sort of strewn about. And it looks like you've used a really big, like shiny font to say, "Hey, Amanda, what's your dad doing?"
Yeah. So in my original business model, I did do family on family crime. And when you bully someone in your family, boy, that your tentacles really get entangled. Because let me tell you, it is interesting. She hired me to, just.
Well, who's she? Who hired you?
Yeah, wait.
She might still be a minor, so I don't know if I can say her name.
You don't need to say her name. You just made it sound like there was a relationship.
Yeah. Well, she had a problem. She was on YouTube a lot when she was supposed to be doing homework. So she wanted me to bully her father.
Okay. So wait, Amanda hired you to do
She's the
this?
one who hired you to do that? This was really more against her father. So she came to you and said, I'm gonna have him take me, and what I want you to do is take a video of it?
Yeah.
Wait.
Wait, am I confused?
So what I'm interpreting it is that Amanda knew that her dad was having an affair with a Hooters waitress.
Okay, good. We'll do that. I thought Amanda was the Hooters waitress is what we were saying.
Well, I think you got to be 18 to work at Hooters.
That's true.
You guys are both right, actually. I I was under the impression I was following this man to bully him. And then I found the affair, and she's like, yeah, that's what I hired you for. It was a big mistake, a lot of lawsuits. You can't really post naked pictures of people without them knowing.
Or videos.
Yeah,
Or
it's
videos.
still publicly on your website under your portfolio tab.
Yeah, I'm not the best at Snapchat, so it's
I don't think you have to be good at Snapchat
Yeah, I
to
think this
take
is more
that
of
off
like
your
a
portfolio.
Squarespace
Yeah.
issue.
I'm not, I had a tech guy for a while, but we had a difference of opinion, so it's all on me now.
It sounds like you used to have some trouble just even knowing who your client was, what they wanted, who the target was.
When you deal with my clientele, it's a lot of just like quick text and stuff, so it's a lot of like emojis and stuff, so I wasn't quite sure what the job was,
So you have to interpret a lot of it through emojis.
Yeah, it was a lot of like rainbows and like dancing ladies and
And an owl.
and I thought I interpreted it correctly, but I didn't come back and double check. So
It sounds like maybe what happened was that Amanda thought you were some sort of private eye. She was mad at her dad, wanted to expose her dad's affair to her mom to get them to break up, but instead you publicly called out Amanda and embarrassed her with the fact that her dad was having an affair.
that's accurate. Lesson learned: say bullying right away when you're presenting to a client, or they will be very confused for sure.
Let the client know what you're going to do.
Yeah, it needs to be clearly stated. You need to have a statement of work saying this is what I'm going to do for you, and not just a lot of thumbs up emojis and stuff. That is not a contract.
Okay, but since then you've managed to grow your business, you have other bullies that are kind of working under you.
That's what I was wondering. You said grow your business. You said you had a tech guy. What's going on there?
Yeah, I've hired some other 13 and 14-year-olds to take out the physical work of my
Okay.
side of my business. So
Can I ask a question real quick? How old are you?
43. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. And as a 43-year-old, you're hiring these 7th, 8th graders to kind of be your own muscle, it sounds like.
Yeah. I usually pay them in cigarettes, which is, it's something they can't get, which I can provide them. So I kind of corner the marketplace in that aspect.
Yeah, I'm looking at the one of the job openings on your website here, and it says pays exclusively in Marlboro.
Yeah. I've been asked to maybe think about offering like a American Spirit option or something like that, and I'm like, I'm not going to hire a hippie. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It
You
says
know your
unfiltered,
demographic.
unfiltered only.
Yeah, I need bullies. I don't need someone that loves
Yeah.
people.
Which fits into your larger model of the world and what you're trying to do, which is get these kids into the workforce, and you're doing it directly.
Yeah, I mean, once you've harassed somebody, you have a little taste of what a management position is going to be like at a tech corporation. 'Cause it's all about intimidation. It's all about crushing their souls, and I think that's what I'm preparing these kids for.
And are you planning on going IPO soon?
Again, I can't get a lot of recognition from the outside business world, if that's TED or TEDx or Wall Street, anything like that. So,
Yeah.
as for right now, I think I'm just going to keep it private.
Well, there's got to be a bunch of scrawny middle-aged men in Silicon Valley who are just waiting. VCs are waiting to throw money at a company like this. I think you just got to find the right investor. Not us, because we don't really want to be involved in harassing and ruining the lives of
Young kids.
children.
No, that sounds
But
horrible.
There's got to be people out there
Yeah.
who are.
Yeah, I mean, I really need to keep it in the northern Colorado area for now because I do not know how to drive. I live with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been begging
You
my
live with your parents in a
the
studio apartment.
complex. Yep.
Yeah,
That's rough.
they are bohemian artists, and
Wow.
that's how I was raised. So,
So we've talked with clients before about this vacation almost being like a relocation. And I think earlier on this podcast, we talked about early on in our careers, we may have moved some people permanently.
We moved some people who call themselves friends of Slobodan Milosevic.
Oh, that one also. Yep.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're looking to get away for your safety. Are you looking to return? Is this like a total relocation? Because we just call it an extended vacation package.
Yeah, an indefinite vacay.
So I just need to, I don't know if I want to relocate forever.
You just need it to cool down.
I need the heat to get off me.
There's some 13-year-old heat on you right now.
And ostensibly, those kids will graduate at some point and move on.
Graduate middle school.
Graduate middle school.
I'm currently putting all my business properties in the name of a 13-year-old. So if this police investigation does come down, it will be on him.
Okay, so the police are involved too. That makes sense.
Yeah, I've been notified that the police are investigating me.
You have a little 13-year-old like spy or mole in the department that's letting you know this?
He is a crossing guard at Truscott Middle School in Fort Collins.
And that's connected. That's close enough to the police that he's able to gather the intel.
He has an office at the police station.
That's a huge, wow, that's quite a coup for you, to get that intel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that again on this
Yeah, we can cut it.
Thank you.
We'll definitely
I mean,
that.
again, I haven't figured out how to cut anything yet, but we can try.
Yeah, and we keep saying that we will, and we'll figure it out one day.
Yeah.
I would appreciate that.
So it sounds like you need to get out of the state specifically because state police on your tail too?
I've had a few stadies pull me over, and they've run my plates.
Okay, I think
my parents' plates, to be fair.
yeah. The big question here is has the FBI been involved? Do we need to go outside of the USA here?
No, it's just Colorado Bureau of Investigation has called my parents'
The CBI,
home line
okay.
a few times, and as far as I know, federals have not been involved yet.
Okay, so we might be able to stay in the country. Do you know if Interpol knows anything about this, internationally? Have you bullied anyone internationally yet?
I was a big fan of the indie rock bands in the early 2000s, like The Strokes, Interpol. Yeah. So I don't understand why they would have any interest in this at all.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. No, I think they would probably sign off on what you're doing for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Subway's a toilet or whatever they said.
So we know kind of the range of locations. I think we have an idea of how you might want to use this vacation to improve your life for the long term, because that's another thing we like to do is use a vacation as a springboard to a better life.
Yep.
So Damon, do you think we have enough to start pitching, or do you have anything else to ask?
I do. I've got an idea. If we just want to dive into that. If you're okay, I'm going to pitch you on...
Are you ready?
The vacation of your dreams.
Kevin Funt, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is, and I'm bouncing between a few different locations. I know what we want to do, but there's a couple of these. And so, I've actually landed on it. Okay. In California, there is a place... what I want to send you on is a retreat. I want to send you on a retreat where you will go and live inside of a cave for a few weeks at a time. Now, why am I thinking this? Number one, who's going to find you in a cave? Okay. But number two, I think it'll give you some time to disconnect from all the social media that's been just, hammered into your brain. And I think as a bully, certainly you're doing a service, it sounds like. Technically, we can call it a service.
You are serving someone for a purpose.
For a purpose. Yeah. But I think that's kind of skewed the way that you look at things right now. And I think just clearing your head, you might be able to come back. And I'm not telling you to go into another career field, but maybe you'll be open to new things at that point.
Maybe pivoting the business a little bit.
Yeah, maybe pivoting the business a little bit. But so it'll be a 2-week retreat. You'll mostly be in a cave. There will be a shaman that will visit you once a day to check in on you, bring you banana leaves for you to feast on.
The whale shaman?
Which one is that?
From the whale that splashes you at the show in San Diego.
You're thinking of Shamu.
Oh, Shamu. Oh,
yeah.
No.
I'd love to meet Shamu.
This is deep in the mountains of California. That that big mountain ridge that's there. Shamu will not come visit in this particular package.
Yeah, Shamu. We have tried. We go to the ends of the earth to fulfill, because we've had someone ask to meet Shamu who they were not permitted on SeaWorld grounds for any reason.
Yeah.
Actually, they were banned from every amusement and theme park in the country, but they still really wanted to meet Shamu, and we're like, okay, we'll try and bring Shamu to you. And it turns out that whales don't survive very long in any environment other than water.
Yeah.
It's interesting. SeaWorld was one of the actual companies that was interested in investing in me. They're like,
makes
we are
sense.
into violence. And I was like, okay, all right, let's talk.
Yeah, they wanted to apply some of their techniques that they use on their animals to middle schools.
Yeah, we had a
Maybe
lot in common. It was-
Maybe reach back out to them. Maybe we could add that on. Maybe at the end of your retreat, you swing by SeaWorld, have a business
Yeah, because
meeting.
you're right there in California.
You're right there in California.
Yeah,
that
swing
state
down to
that-
San Diego.
Just swing on down there and talk business and see if you can meet Shamu.
That's the thing about California. Anywhere you are in the state, you're around the corner from whatever else you want to go
You
to.
can just swing down
Just
to
swing
the other
by.
place in
Yeah.
California.
That's a fantastic idea, I think.
Okay, so so how do you feel about that?
How do you feel about that? Any questions for me?
So no Shamu.
Well,
We're going to tag that on.
We
at the
could
end.
upgrade the package.
We're going to
for
upgrade
you,
the package for you and
Have a meet and greet with Shamu.
With the Shamu upgrade, I would be very interested in that for sure.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Cool.
all right. Well, I think Keith might pitch something as well, and then you can kind of weigh your options here.
Okay, so it sounds like Interpol, the International Police Agency, is not aware of your actions yet. It remains to be seen whether the band is and whether they'd be approving. But
I mean, I think the Strokes' first two albums were the best of that era, and
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
that helps.
Yeah, that helps. Okay, that helps. Okay, so I'm thinking we go international. I know of. It's also sort of a retreat. It's in rural Poland, where a few old-time circus performers have started sort of a strength training retreat. In rural Poland, and we've got some muscle men that were on the European circus scene back in the 20s, between the wars, and they
Just right between.
were just right between those two
They
wars.
found time to do this.
And they have a program that can help people really build muscle mass in a way that, for example, swimming in a very small hot tub does not seem to be able to do.
Yeah.
And so it's not just about building muscle, but it's also about building camaraderie. It's about
And that is their slogan, right? It's not just about building muscle; it's about building camaraderie.
yeah, but it sounds so much better in Polish. It's so it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a beautiful phrase.
It's a
in
bit
Polish.
shorter
it's
and more
poetry.
succinct
Yeah.
in Polish.
It's very poetic in the Polish tongue.
Yeah, and it rhymes in
and,
Polish.
and it rhymes in Polish. But yeah, so you got these. At this point, they're in their hundreds.
That's right. Yeah,
and
which just means they know their stuff.
they know their stuff. They also have some sons, grandsons, and great-grandsons who have kind of carried on the mantle of being spectacularly large. Now, the problem is that there are so many big, beefy men, for example, in the sport of baseball corner.
Baseball corner, in, out. We're done.
That's our baseball segment for this week, where it's just not as spectacular anymore. You don't go to a circus, a sideshow, a carnival to see a big muscly man, right? Because you can see one down at your local Planet Fitness.
You can see one at your local ESPN.
Yeah, you turn on your local ESPN channel and you see a dozen big beefy guys.
Big beefy guys rubbing against each other.
Every bit as beefy as these poles.
What channel is that?
Usually 26, I think.
All right.
Yeah, it depends on your provider. Depends on your cable or satellite provider which number it is. But yeah, it's 26 in our experience. It was 33 for me growing up. So they would kind of have you on this abandoned Polish circus ground. And they'd be feeding you whey and kind of raw eggs and
Steak.
steak.
And
A lot
potatoes.
of they're very old school, so they don't do any like steroid injections or anything like that. They just basically like load you up with as much just beef as possible.
Yeah.
Just grade A Polish beef.
Yeah.
And by the end of that 2-3 week experience, you have to audition for the third week.
Wow.
So after 2 weeks, you kind of have to have done enough to earn your way into the third week. But if you get into the third week and you graduate, you'll be refreshed, but also hopefully quite muscular.
Yeah. And that is the key difference, I think, between the two of ours. Your muscles, if anything, will recede, I think, just sitting in the cave.
Yeah. This will make you way more aggressive.
Yeah.
All of these old Polish men have serious anger problems.
Oh, yeah.
And
They lived between two wars.
he lived right smack dab in the middle between two wars. And when you have a life like that, it's just kind of inevitable that you'll have some rage issues, and then you'll have to pass those on to the people that come to your abandoned circus ground. So you'll have all the kielbasa you can eat.
So you won't have to worry about that.
And you might be the one to help them change that light bulb that they've been struggling with for a while, and because they just have one light bulb in their little office that they just all of them combined, they've not been able to change it yet. So, but yeah, what you thinking?
Well, first of all, I'm very interested in putting on muscle mass for sure.
Keith,
But I have two concerns.
Okay.
I've been on steroid cycles for the last 20 years.
Wow.
Trying to gain muscle mass. Really since the home run race of Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, I'm like, that's for me.
Yeah.
I've been on HGH, anabolic steroids, a couple other things that are no longer even used on the market. And they do not affect my musculature at all. They just go right through me and give me diarrhea. So,
well, I think the good news would be potentially that's the wrong avenue for you. Maybe the drugs don't work, but maybe the old-fashioned beef and circus workouts do.
Have you tried?
Okay, all right.
Have you tried eating 10 pounds of kielbasa and then lifting an old Volkswagen?
I haven't. My parents keep me on a vegan diet, so it's not a lot of.
Yeah, that might be a major part of it. Not being able to add on muscle.
The second issue I have with that is my budget constraints are limiting me to having my dad take me to wherever my vacation is going to be. He drives a 2001 Honda CRV, so I don't know where Poland is or what Poland is, but
okay. So Poland's in Europe, first of all.
Okay.
So it's across the ocean.
Right.
I don't think the CRV is going to make it that far.
No.
But what we can do is we can send a car to pick you up.
Right.
It can take you to the nearest airport, and it can fly you right there. Now, do you have a passport? Do you deserve a passport?
Yeah, I think I have. That's like an album, right?
Sure.
Okay.
It's kind of like an album.
It's like
of
an
where
album
you
of
can go and have been.
stamps of where you've been. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't have any stamp. I don't think I have that.
That's
think
okay.
I have a passport.
Look, because destination passport, we can help you out. We can get you one.
Again, you'll need to provide a valid passport.
Yeah, we're not going to make you a fake passport. You need to go through the process of getting a passport. But then if you come to us, we could
make a fake one.
Make a
that's
fake
exactly
one.
like the real one that you
Would
provide.
being a felon escaped from a jail
You didn't bring this up. That's interesting.
Yeah.
be an issue in obtaining one of these?
That might raise
Passports.
some red flags.
Yes.
As you're trying to leave the country. Yeah. If you're considered a flight risk, that's very explicitly the thing that they don't want you to do is fly out of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. It was a weird thing. I had a lot of speeding tickets that eventually piled up, and then I was forced to do a little bit of time in jail, which was
that's interesting.
You said prison, right? You said prison?
It's a juvenile facility,
Did you do
but
something?
I was given a life sentence. So
You were given a life sentence in
for
juvie?
too many tickets?
Now, when you were speeding, did you also, in the process of speeding, hit people?
And were there other counts that you didn't mention on top
And then
of
did
speeding?
you speed away from the accidents?
I don't want people to Google this, but 1992 Loveland go-kart track. 14,
Go-kart track.
14 dead.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
So
So you were sentenced to life, but you're not in there.
Were
for
you
life.
driving a go-kart and you somehow killed 14 people with a go-kart?
They were involved in some sort of youth group, prayer around a flagpole.
So you just did a lap around this flagpole just running over young Christians.
They weren't in go-karts.
They were not. They were done with their go-karting and mini golf. I was on my last lap. Took dead aim.
You said one more, Dad.
Yeah.
So you considered each murder, was it murder or manslaughter that they hit you with?
I was charged with murder, but I was pardoned out to manslaughter.
Okay, great. And so when you said a lot of speeding tickets piled up, what you meant was bodies of dead Christian children. were piled up around the
I
flagpole.
Yeah, I speeded them to their final destination.
Heaven, presumably.
Heaven.
Okay, well, you know what? It's not a problem. We've recently had a client who didn't deserve a passport.
Yeah, and we sent them somewhere.
Yeah, so what we'll do, we're great at facilitating stowaways. So what we'll do is we'll get you onto what appears to be a Snap Pea boat that's delivering Snap Peas to Europe. It's actually delivering biker crank, huge quantities of biker crank.
Yeah.
As we told Rick Carpet Drapes, if you're caught on board, you may be forced to do some of that biker crank to prove that you're cool.
Not a problem.
Okay, great. He said that too. So that's good.
That's good.
That's good that it hasn't been a problem for any of our
Okay,
clients
so we could
yet.
do that. We could kind of stow you away. What are your thoughts then? Because it seems like really it comes down to, do you want to potentially do biker crank and go to a new country and beef up? Or do you want to kind of get away, maybe look inward and self-reflect on who you are and why you're doing what you're doing?
And maybe come up with some other thing that PYBCK could possibly stand for.
Yeah, and we could brainstorm some. I still have that whiteboard that we talked about earlier. We could brainstorm a few ideas.
Like,
yeah. You know, I think Poland is going to be the place for me.
Nice. Yes.
I didn't want to bring up all that issue with the go-kart murders.
And again, we can cut that.
Yeah.
We'll
thank
probably
you.
be down to about a 20-minute episode based on how much we need to cut. But, we're willing to do that to protect our clients.
Yep.
I changed my identity after that and my face after the escape. So didn't really want to bring that up on a podcast about my business, but
So it was an escape. That's what I was curious about. You escaped jail.
yeah, it was, you have to do work releases because they're so overcrowded, the juvenile facilities. So I was picking up trash and just kept picking until I had quite the disguise made out of the trash I was picking.
Wow. Well, that's great. That's amazing. That means that we're at 3 apiece.
Is that 3 apiece?
That's 3 apiece, I believe.
Not a competition.
Not a competition, of
which
course.
proves it because we are equals.
It proves that we are equal, of course, until next week when one of us.
I was going to
will
say
take the
next week we'll still be equals somehow.
lead. But yeah, so it sounds great. You're going to be getting on a biker crank boat and then arrive in Poland to train under a bunch of Polish muscle clowns. I forgot to mention they are also clowns.
Yep.
They're very muscular clowns.
I forgot to mention the Walkmen. They were also a great band in that era with Interpol and the Strokes.
I noted that at the time that you didn't mention them. I was like, what?
I don't know where my
Does he
head's
have a
at.
problem with the Walkman? But yeah, no, that's great. And honestly, there's a possibility that even when you muscle up, you'll maybe pivot into something else anyway. You'll be like, I'm so muscular, I'm so strong now. I've learned all these terrifying Polish clowning techniques. Because in Poland, clowning is not about comedy at all. It's about
God,
It's
no.
about scaring the shit out of people. And that's never been a thing. I've never heard of a scary clown before until I met these guys.
No, exactly. They revolutionized that.
They really revolutionized the clown game. But there are all sorts of things that PYBCK could possibly stand for. The thing that I thought of was PEY Buick, where you drive around in a Buick selling peyote to people. Damon, do you have one?
Yeah, I have pissy back. And so what the business would be, I guess, is the question, right? Is like if I guess it's kind of close to bullying now that I think about it. But if somebody pisses you off, you just piss them back. So you would hire you to piss somebody off after they pissed you off.
But that's different than bullying. Bullying is the stuff that you've been doing.
Yeah, they don't deserve it in bullying. It's just to.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Gain.
So maybe this would be one step up to where people deserve it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can keep the same domain name.
And you just look like a big beefy pole, and with clowny, like terrifying clown makeup on. Honestly, Polish clowns look a lot like. Insane Clown Posse actually took their inspiration directly from Polish clowns.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's why if you go to Detroit, it's only in that market, but you can get kielbasa flavored Faygo.
It's very weird that you've brought up the two companies that have been interested in investing in me is Insane Clown Posse and SeaWorld. So that is.
I thought you were going to say the city of Detroit.
They have a lot of money to invest in companies.
But I would imagine that Insane Clown Posse, they've reformed a little bit in recent years, and maybe they're not as interested in being advocates for bullying anymore.
Yeah, they've changed their ways. The Gathering is a lot of more like TED Talks now than it is anything more performances.
Did you try to do a speech? Did you try to
get your
do a
TED Talk
speech
in
at
there?
the Gathering of the Juggalos?
Eventually, yeah, I tried to get in, and they said it was still too violent.
Too violent for
I'm
them.
like, your name is Violent J. And he's like, yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
And then you try to rework the speech, and we're like, this speech is a little more shaggy, and they're like, it's too shaggy.
Yeah, Shaggy Too Dope was like, not dope enough, dude.
Okay, well, great. Either way, whether you come back to the States and decide to double down on your bullying-based business, or maybe pivot to selling peyote out of a Buick or whatever, pissing on people's backs or whatever yours was, Damon.
Basically.
I think that what we'll have is a different Kevin Funt.
Yep.
For the better. And I'm really excited to send you on this trip to Poland.
And I'm really excited to meet that Kevin Funt.
I'm excited to meet that Kevin Funt because as great as this Kevin Funt was,
he'll be even greater.
the beefy, clowny Kevin Funt is going to be even greater.
You know, anything is going to be better than being attacked by middle schoolers or the police departments of Northern Colorado.
Yeah.
So
So we'll try to get this booked ASAP
Yeah, we'll
because
get
that would be
going.
great.
speed is
Yeah.
important.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it seems like kind of you're being closed in on from all angles, and you need to slip out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, my phones have been tapped.
Okay.
So
Oh, and I
By the police or by the middle school?
I'm not even
Capo?
sure. I just hear breathing all the time.
Okay, so if it's heavy
Does it sound like
breathing,
high-pitched breathing like little kids? Or
or does it sound like Tony
you know how when they're
Soprano?
breathing, you can tell the pitch of their voice, right?
Yeah, sometimes there's some asthma going on, so that might be
Yeah.
a younger person.
But you don't want to stereotype. Maybe an older
I don't want to
person has
stereotype.
asthma.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be a fat Italian. You never know.
Yeah, and it just not okay. So you're rolling out a beanbag. Are you planning on just staying here until your trip?
I mean, I don't have a great place to stay right
Okay.
now.
I've never seen a wheelie beanbag, by the way. That you're rolling
It comes
out.
in. It comes in handy. You wouldn't think it would, but when you're on the go and you want to chill, you just put it on wheels and push it. So
Okay. All right.
Well, great.
feel free
Kevin
to crash
Funt.
here. Kevin
Yeah,
Funt.
crash here. Go ahead. And that's all of our clients that can crash in our travel agency storefront if they need to.
Absolutely. We would do anything for our clients.
We would do anything for our clients,
And we will do anything for
and
our
we will do
clients.
anything, including what we are about to do for the second time in the course of this podcast, which is have them be stowaways on a biker
Yeah,
crank
absolutely.
ship.
Yeah.
Um,
And including leaving you in here to sleep, because we will go home to our homes, by the way, but you can sleep here.
used to it. Yeah.
So we'll take a quick break, kind of get out the bedding materials that we have.
Set Kevin up here
Kevin
for a
up
nice
here
night.
for a
Put on
nice
my sound machine and the
yeah,
night light.
get some of the sleepy time tea going.
Wow. This is way better than the cab of the truck outside the Walmart I slept in last night.
Yeah. And we'll be right back to finish up this episode of Destination Passport. Welcome back to Destination Passport.
Passport.
And wow, you know what? I would say that Kevin Funt was probably the first smart client that we've had on the show,
Whoa, that just hit me.
but also the worst person.
That's true. Lowest
Yeah.
quality, highest IQ.
Yeah, and that's just proof that we can work with anyone. We can work with dumbass saints,
Yep.
and we can work with brilliant
Brilliant
evil
devils.
geniuses.
Evil geniuses.
Yeah.
Yep. We will. Every part of the quadrant, right? And not just the extremes, right?
Yeah.
We'll work with every part of that. But he was Funt, wasn't he?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Kevin Funt.
You know, I also had Funt.
Okay, yeah.
Just to do
Now
another
you're on
pun off
yeah,
of it.
That's another
Yeah.
pun. That is another separate pun. Yeah.
But good guy.
A fun time was had by all.
I hope he has a fun time on his trip.
That's another one. That's
Yeah.
good.
I don't know where that one came from. I
Let's
just
see.
pulled
Let's
that one
see.
out.
Let's see. It's not all fun and games. Okay.
Whoa!
But anyway, yeah, Kevin Funt. I was gonna say great guy, not.
Yeah.
But a great client, and might become a great guy out there in Poland.
Great client.
Learning
And you
under
know
these 100-year-old muscle clowns.
Yeah, and you know what we didn't touch on there? I was going to touch on it, but like obviously we'll work with people of all different budgets as well.
Yeah.
Because he didn't tell us this beforehand, but that's fine. He had basically zero budget, but we'll make it work.
Yeah, we're gonna make it work. Getting on the boat is free.
Yep.
All you have to do is do a little bit of biker crank.
And the clowns are looking for anybody. That does not cost.
Yeah, the clowns are lonely. That's something I didn't mention.
Yeah.
These 100-year-old, and some of them are sons, grandsons, so some of them are, 80, 60, 40.
That's true.
That's kind of the mating cycle of the Polish clown is every 20 years.
Very even.
But
You know, some of them are 80, 60, 40, 20, but only that.
They are lonely.
Yeah.
These clowns are lonely. These muscle-bound Polish clowns are some of the loneliest people you'll ever see.
And just stop and visualize that, okay? Muscle What would you say? Muscle bound?
Muscle-bound Polish clowns.
Muscle-bound Polish clowns.
Muscle-bound Polish clowns.
Yeah. Just visualize them crying, sad, together, eating a bunch of...
Making their ICP makeup run.
Aww.
Eating a bunch of
Kielbasa?
kielbasa. Polish sausage.
There it is. Yeah. And then Kevin, I think he's going to go turn that around because you know what Kevin is? He's a bundle of funt.
Okay. Yeah, and that is an expression to make a play on words with.
Yeah. So hopefully bring a literal smile to their face, not just one that's full of makeup.
Yeah, literal. That's what we. That's one of our many slogans: bringing a literal smile to your face.
Not just with makeup.
Yeah. Okay, but we're at the end of the show, just about, and we have our final segment where we do our what to look out for and our tip of the week.
Yeah.
And I believe you went first with a tip of the week last week, right?
Surely
So
no one can check on that. So go ahead, Keith. I think take it away with the tip of the week.
Okay, so Halloween's coming up.
Oh.
And, we don't just think about travel 24/7. I know we said that we literally work on travel 24/7 at the beginning of this episode.
But our minds can be other places.
Our minds can be other places. We can multitask.
Yep.
And so I have a little bit of a Halloween tip for everyone.
Ooh, spooky.
And my Halloween tip is, if you are giving out candy on Halloween, don't put a razor in the candy. It's bad to do.
Yeah. I don't know where that started. Why did people not know that that's a bad thing to do?
And that just seems to be the thing that people need to know, is that it is bad to do that.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to be home for Halloween, I'm sorry that we weren't able to put you on a vacation for Halloween. Maybe to, what are some of the spooky places that you could
Salem?
travel? Salem, Massachusetts. Salem, Oregon can also be spooky in its own way.
Any place named Salem. I don't know if there are others, but just by association, mentally, if you're there, you're going to be like, oh, I'm thinking about witches.
Yeah, no matter what. Let's see, what are some other spooky places?
Shutter Island.
Shutter Island. If you were to go on a vacation to Shutter Island, that would be another place.
Yeah, the film.
Yeah, but if you're not going to any of those places, Halloween Town, if you're not going anywhere
that's
like
a good
that, and you're staying home and you're giving out the candy, just remember, write this down right now. All of you listening, even if you're driving.
Yeah.
Get out a pad, get a pen, just rummage around.
Yeah, if you have to, open your glove compartment, rummage around.
Yeah, but if you're about to crash, someone will honk, and then you'll get to,
you'll know.
You'll know. Just do what you can to write this down right now. Remember, do not put razor blades into the candy.
Yeah.
Because if you forget, you'll be like, oh no, you're rushing around doing your last minute Halloween preparation.
Last minute, you grab the razors, you grab the candy, and you go, am I doing it again? And you're just going to fall into it. Old habits die hard.
Yeah, and trust us.
Trust us on that.
We did that. This is coming from a place of experience. We thought that that's what you were supposed to do. And we put razor blades in candy for years.
For years. Because why else would parents check for them if they're not supposed to be in there? We just heard that parents would check, like, oh, I got to check your candy for razor blades.
To make sure they're in there to get the full Halloween experience.
Yeah. And law enforcement told us not the case.
Yeah, they gave us a warning.
Yeah, which was nice, a little slap on the wrist.
They knocked on the door and like, hey, you guys been putting razor blades in candy? Like, yes, finally someone recognizes our work.
Exactly. We said, oh, do you have the award on
you? Yeah, do you have the key to the city?
Or keys, because there's two of us. We will share one, but we would prefer one each.
Yeah. They said, no, actually, we're coming to tell you to not do that. We're not going to put you in jail. Don't know why.
They said all that. Yeah, it was kind of surprising. But they literally slapped us on the wrist and they said bad.
Yeah, bad boys. Bad boys.
What you going to do?
So that's a tip of the week for a special Halloween edition tip of the week. Don't put razor blades in the candy.
Thanks, Keith. That's going to be super helpful, I think.
You're welcome, Damon.
So let me move on then to what to look out for.
What to look out for.
What to look out for.
Sorry, I started playing the tip of the week
again.
Theme.
Just go ahead and cut it.
To play for. Okay, I'll cut it.
Just go ahead and cut it.
Yeah.
So what to look out for. I also have a spooky edition,
okay,
if you will. A little Halloween theme.
Reason for the season.
What to look out for. And what to look out for is a Halloween party near you on 3246 Elm Street. There's going to be a massive Halloween party.
Yeah.
Is this my party? No. Have I been invited to it? No. But I have had people RSVP to it on Facebook, and I found out about it, and I said, that looks fun. So that is something to look out for this weekend. There is going to be a Halloween party going on there. And so when you show up, you'll be in costume. So I don't know if you'll get a lot of like, hey, who are you? And who do you know here? Right? I don't know that you'll get a lot of that if your costume is done well enough.
I think that's the great thing about infiltrating or crashing costume parties.
Exactly.
It's a lot easier.
Exactly. So make sure that you're dressing up in a manner that disguises your face as much as possible when you go to this one. I'm going to try to sneak in as well, but that's something to look out for is a Halloween party at that exact location.
Yeah. Was it 3246 Elm Street?
That was certainly it.
And and when we say near you, that means we have verified this. We always verify.
There is that address.
That address in every city in the country.
Yes.
There is going to be a Halloween party at 3246 Elm Street.
Exactly.
So whatever your local 3246 Elm Street is, do the
Yes.
same thing.
Notice I said a very general street name. That's why. It wasn't like, Halabasa.
Yeah, there are not a lot of
Court.
Calabasas.
Halabasa Court.
Not a lot of Calabasas outside of Phoenix.
Yeah. And that's why, is because, yes, you will have your own local, that number Elm Street. And they will be having a Halloween party. So go and have fun.
Guaranteed.
This is a mini vacation, okay?
Parties are mini vacations.
Yes.
Okay?
If nothing else from your home, but from your mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you can just completely disconnect from any
Disassociate
sort of
from reality.
rational thought or action.
Yep.
And just anything you do at a party, you can't be held accountable for because you...
Especially when you're dressed up as Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that was Pee Wee Herman's, that was the mistake he made when he got caught jacking off in that adult movie theater, is that he wasn't dressed as Pee Wee Herman. If he had, he could have been like, I thought it was a party.
Yeah. That's what he sounds like.
That's what he sounds like, exactly.
So yeah, that's what to look out
That's
for.
what to look out for. Your local 3246 Elm Street Halloween party.
Bing, bing, boom.
Bingada bang da boom. And wow, that we've come to the conclusion of yet another episode of Destination Passport. I'm sad to see it go, but I love watching it walk away.
Oh, when that passport walks away.
Oh, baby. I mean, when we're wearing our luggage and passport costumes, we really made sure to accentuate the cheeks.
Yeah, we accentuate the cheeks on the back of it. Yours is plausible. It's just that the guys handling your luggage mishandled it and there's bumps in it.
Yeah. Like whenever someone's like, "Damn, you're looking cheeked up," I'm like, well, the canon for this costume is that I've packed my butt pads.
Yep.
Very I've overpacked and they're really like swelling out.
Yeah, I love that you feel strongly about correcting them. You shush them. You put your finger to their mouth. You say, no.
Oh, I hate lying.
There's a canon behind this.
I hate lying.
Yeah. And mine, of course, is just from, you know how sometimes when you get a certain type of paper material wet, it
kind of like,
what do you call it?
Splotches.
Sure. It splotches or it contracts.
It contracts,
expands.
like it craters a bit.
It craters a bit. I have 2 little butt craters from my passport getting
sort
wet.
of convex butt craters.
Whatever goes out.
Yeah.
That one.
Hey, are you a concave or a convex, belly button wise?
Belly button. Well, since I don't know which one is what, I'm a convexer.
And I think I'm convex as well. Wait, does that mean we're both outies? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
We'll compare as soon as we
We'll compare. We'll
sign
lift
off.
up our shirts as soon as we sign off, and we'll verify, and we'll make sure to remember to let the listeners know at the very beginning of next week's episode whether we're concave or convex belly button wise. But yeah, there's been another episode of Destination Passport. We're happy that you came on this journey with us. And until next time, I've been Keith Bird.
I'm Damon Product.
And we hope that you find the destination of your passport.
Oh, goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Passport means heart.